You were told 3 rules about summer tomatoes. Give them the sunniest spot you have. Let them ripen all the way on the vine. And whatever you do, never prune them. 3 rules, repeated everywhere. 2 of them fall apart the moment a real heat wave arrives. Here's the first crack. Your tomatoes don't actually want the sunniest spot you can give them. Not once the heat climbs. And the proof isn't in a textbook. It's hiding inside a single tomato. In the quiet moment, it cuts itself off the vine, while it's still half green. Today we open that file, and we sort the 3 rules into what the evidence actually supports, and what you were simply told to repeat. The archive opens, not in the garden, but inside the fruit, at the instant it stops taking anything more from the plant. 3 rules. 3 case files. Rule 1. Tomatoes want the most sun possible. Rule 2. Vine ripened always beats picked early. Rule 3. Pruning is a mistake. Each one feels obvious. Each one is repeated with total confidence. And that confidence is exactly the problem. Because a tomato plant doesn't follow slogans. It follows its origin, its temperature, and its own internal clock. So we'll do what the quick how-to videos skip. Weigh each rule against where this plant actually comes from, and what its fruit is actually doing. Start with the sun. Here's what the record gets right. The tomato is a sun plant. Its wild ancestors come from the open, bright slopes of western South America, the edges of the Andes, where light is intense and direct. That heritage is written into how it grows. To build sugars, deep color, and real flavor, a tomato genuinely wants a long drink of direct light, roughly 6 to 8 hours of full sun on an ordinary summer day. Starve it of light, and you can see the verdict. Leggy, stretched stems reaching for a window of sky, thin foliage, and fruit that ripens slowly into something pale and watery. So the first rule isn't a myth at all. A tomato in too much shade is a tomato robbed of its inheritance. If your only real choice is between a shady bed and a sunny one, the sunny one wins. Hold that, because the next exhibit is where the rule quietly breaks. Because a sun plant is not the same as a plant that wants every degree you can give it. Push past roughly 32 to 35 degrees Celsius for days on end, and the same sun that built the fruit starts dismantling it. In that kind of heat, blossoms can drop before they ever set fruit. Exposed shoulders of ripening tomatoes get scalded, a pale, leathery patch where the skin literally cooked. The plant stalls, because survival now matters more than fruiting. This is where light afternoon shade, a cloth blocking 30 to 50% of the harshest midday sun, stops being heresy and becomes protection. But read the fine print the slogans skip. That's a fix for genuinely extreme heat. In a cool, short northern summer, draping shade over your tomatoes doesn't protect them. It starves them, and you lose the crop. So the rule isn't simply that more sun is better. It's full sun, until the heat turns that same sun into a weapon. Same plant, opposite advice. And the only thing that decides which is true is your climate. Now the second rule, and the moment hiding inside the tomato. Somewhere around the point where a green tomato first blushes, call it the breaker stage, when the bottom just turns from green toward pink, something decisive happens. The plant forms a layer of cells at the stem, an abscission zone, and effectively closes the supply line. From that instant, the fruit is no longer being fed by the plant in any meaningful way. It has cut the cord. And here is the part the record keeps quiet. From that point on, the tomato can ripen itself. It carries its own supply of ethylene, the ripening signal, and finishes the job on a windowsill almost exactly as it would on the plant. Which means a tomato picked at the breaker stage and ripened indoors loses very little. What it avoids is everything that can go wrong in those last exposed days. Cracking after rain, sun scald, birds, and insects taking the first bite. The plant already decided the fruit was done. Picking it early just respects that decision. So is the belief that vine ripened always tastes better just in our heads. Almost, but let's be honest, not entirely. For a fruit picked at breaker stage or later, the blind tastings are brutal on the myth. Most people cannot reliably tell the windowsill ripened tomato from the vine ripened one. The flavor was largely locked in before you picked it. So the romantic claim that a tomato must hang on the vine to the last day or it's ruined doesn't survive the evidence. But the comments raised a fair point. and the archive logs it. Pick too early, while a fruit is still fully green, before the breaker stage, and you really do sacrifice flavor, because the cord wasn't cut yet. And some small fruited types, like many cherry tomatoes, are sweet and crack-resistant enough that there's little reason not to enjoy them straight off the plant. So the honest verdict, picking at the breaker stage doesn't lose you the taste, but don't turn that into a new absolute rule either. The plant tells you when. Your job is to read it. Which brings us to the third rule, the flat command to never prune. There's a real truth underneath it. Leaves are the factory that makes the sugar, and a canopy of leaves is also the parasol that shades the fruit and helps prevent that sun scald we just saw. Strip a plant bare and you'll get scalded, flavorless tomatoes. So the warning against over-pruning is solid advice. But the flat command to never prune hides the single most useful distinction in growing tomatoes, and almost no quick video says it out loud. There are two kinds of tomato plant. Determinate types grow to a set size, set their fruit in one main flush, and barely need pruning at all. For those, the don't prune advice is basically right. Indeterminate types are the long vines that keep growing and fruiting all season, and they throw out side shoots, suckers, in the joints between stem and leaf. On those, removing some of the lower suckers improves airflow, lets light in, and lowers the risk of fungal disease in a humid summer. The skill isn't whether to prune at all, it's knowing which plant is in front of you, and if you do cut, using a clean blade so you don't carry disease from plant to plant. Now the problem almost everyone misdiagnoses, that sunken leathery black patch on the bottom of the fruit, blossom end rot. The reflex is to blame a calcium shortage in the soil and rush out to buy something, but most garden soil already has enough calcium. The real culprit is usually water. Calcium can only travel into the fruit dissolved in a steady stream of moisture, and when watering swings between bone dry and flooded, that delivery line keeps breaking. The fruit starves at the tip even though the soil is full. Which means the fix isn't a calcium powder, it's consistency. Water deeply and evenly, and lay down mulch to hold that moisture steady between waterings. A simple drip line under straw mulch does more to stop blossom end rot than any bottle. One honest note the comments earned. Crushed eggshells break down far too slowly to fix a rot you're seeing this week. They're a long, slow soil amendment, not an emergency cure. Feeding follows the same pattern. More is not better. A tomato is a hungry plant, but pour on high nitrogen feed, and you'll grow a magnificent green bush with very little fruit. All leaves, no harvest. The plant wants a balanced supply, leaning toward what supports flowering and fruiting once it's established, fed in steady rhythm, rather than one heavy dump. And that points at the thread running through every file we opened today. Full sun, unless your heat turns extreme. Pick early, but not before the breaker stage. Prune, but only the right type, and never to the bone. Every rule that sounded absolute turned out to have a hidden condition, and the condition is almost always your climate, your variety, your week of weather. The most dangerous words in gardening are always and never. So here is the record, rewritten honestly. 1. Give tomatoes full sun, 6 to 8 hours, and add light afternoon shade only when real extreme heat sets in. 2. You can pick at the breaker stage and ripen indoors with almost no loss. Just don't pick fully green. 3. Prune for airflow on the long indeterminate vines. Leave the compact determinate types mostly alone, and never strip the canopy bare. 4. Stop blossom end rot with steady water and mulch, not panic calcium. 5. Feed in balance, and pull any plant that truly wilts with disease before it spreads. The archive closes. The 3 rules were never simply true or simply false. They were half records, passed down without the conditions that made them work. You came in with 3 commandments. You leave holding the evidence behind them, and the judgment, to know which one applies in your own garden. That is what an archive is for. Not to hand you commandments, but to hand you the whole record, so you become the one who keeps it. And if you want the next file opened with you, that is what subscribing is for. So tell me in the comments, which of these 3 rules had you been following without question, and what does the weather actually do where you grow? The archive stays open.